Donald Trump is sending out provocative tweets again, this time threatening Turkey. The US president posted that he's beginning a long overdue pullout from Syria, but he would continue to target the remnants of Daesh in the region. He then added,
"Will devastate Turkey economically if they hit Kurds, create 20-mile safe zone, likewise do not want the Kurds to provoke Turkey."
There were strong words aimed at America's NATO ally and partner in the fight against Daesh.
Nothing can be achieved by threatening Turkey economically. We can see the difficult situation that Mr. Trump is in now. There is a serious pressure on him. He took the decision of withdrawal. However, the security divisions are putting constant pressure to stop the withdrawal. And we know that the latest tweet is a domestic policy message. But strategic partners, allies, do not communicate over Twitter or social media. We have to continue discussing these issues bilaterally.
The US and Turkey have been allies for more than 6 decades, but their relationship has been shaky since last year. In August, Trump imposed sanctions on 2 Turkish ministers and raised tariffs on Turkish metal exports during a row over a detained US pastor. The dispute sent the Turkish lira to a record low. The currency lost more than a third of its value last year. After Trump's latest tweet, it slipped by as much as 1.5% against the dollar before recovering slightly. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says Trump's comments may refer to more sanctions. But Turkish officials say national security comes before economic wealth. They promise to continue the anti-terror fight while at the same time protecting the Kurdish people. While Trump's tweets reflect growing disagreements between the 2 allies, they also hint at one area of possible agreement: the creation of a 30-kilometer safe zone. It's an idea that was proposed by Turkey before Trump took office, and is now a glimmer of hope for further cooperation in the region. Usmaan Lone, TRT World.
And joining me now in the studio is Hakan Akbas. He's a senior advisor at global strategic advisory and commercial diplomacy firm Albright Stonebridge. Welcome back to the program, Hakan.
Thanks for having me.
Some very strong words from the US president, not unusual, but at this time they're directed at Turkey once again with threats to devastate Turkey's economy. What do you make of his threats?
Well, when we discuss Twitter and Donald Trump, it's really like a bull in the china shop. And he basically made things a lot worse. And in this case, his sort of threats, economic threats against Turkey, they do not appear to be similar to what we had experienced last August, which includes some sanctions and trade tariffs. This has to do more with all the troubles that Mr. Trump is going through at home, which includes the government shutdown, Democrats taking over the House and starting a series of investigations, let alone the federal prosecutor Mueller and his investigations are starting to pay off. So he's been trying to basically get critical voices, critics like Lindsey Graham and even Netanyahu from the Middle East, the Prime Minister of Israel, because he's prepping up himself for the 2020 race. And therefore, he's trying to, on the one hand, get his sort of ducks in a row at home, but also at the same time, he's been frustrated with U.S. not getting out of Syria, as well as Afghanistan. And whether it's the former Ministry of Defense, Mattis, or his national security advisor, Bolton, or even Pompeo, he's been frustrated. So he just made a decision, and now he wants everyone to follow through. That includes his own team, and that includes all the players. So whether it's Turkey, whether it's Syrians, whether it's Russia, or, I mean, he was sending a message to all the parties involved because he made a promise, an election promise, to get all the soldiers out, and out by literally yesterday. So that's why this frustration has been all about.
Yes, and you mentioned last year's events. Let's recap. Obviously, as you say, there were tariffs imposed against steel and aluminium coming out of Turkey. There were sanctions against certain ministers. And this largely had to do with the detention of Pastor Andrew Brunson, who's since been released.
That is correct.
But we also saw the Turkish lira fall to a record low around this time as well. Given the recent history, do you think the Turkish government should take these tweets seriously?
Not this particular one. Obviously, Donald Trump is the elected president of the world's super economic power. So, I mean, you need to take these seriously and put them in the right context. But in this case, I mean, look at the stock market, right? It went up. Look at the lira against dollar. It just barely moved. Because I think people are realizing that this is how Trump operates and trying to corner somebody to get what he wants out of any negotiation, let alone any foreign diplomacy decision that he came up on his own. So in this case, I think given the recent phone call, like literally half an hour ago, President Erdogan and Trump just had, it would appear that from the at least readouts, they are patching things up, that they will be focusing on the Menjip roadmap and to make sure that this withdrawal, which is also very important for Turkey, and also what the establishment of these safe zones would mean. Who would enforce them, who would basically fund them,
yes.
and who would own them and police them. So there's, the devil is in the details,
yes.
but I do not put these in the same context as last August tweets.
Okay, so
and Turkish economy is also doing just fine.
interesting. Some excellent analysis as always. Hakan Akbas, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.